right? We are now live. Hey players, welcome to another live stream here on my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Josh. Every single week I make videos sharing tips, ideas, and stories teaching you how to be your best self. And in this live stream, I'm going to be covering 5 low-key mixed signals that your crush may be giving off that is confusing the heck out of you. You have no clue why they're doing it, why they're flirting with you, why they're giving you these hot and cold signals, and we're going to kind of break down some of the more common ones that you might be experiencing and talk about what they are and how to deal with them. But before I get into that, I want to say welcome to all the early birds here in the chat. Those are the people that are here in the stream from the get-go. So if you're an early bird, if you're here right from the beginning, you've been waiting for me to jump in the chat, say hello. This is a super interactive live stream, so I want to get feedback from each and every single one of you. I run different chat polls, I ask questions, and if you have a question that you want to ask me, it's a burning question, something that is on your mind that you need my answer on, you need my feedback, this is always an option for you guys. You can use the super chat function to donate $1, $2, or whatever it is. It'll put your question front and center, and I will see it. So that's always an option for you guys to use if you have a question you want to ask me about. So I'm going to walk you through these 5 points. After I go over each point, I want to definitely run a chat poll and see, what you guys think and all. But let's jump over to the early birds here in the chat. First off, I want to say thank you so much, Hamish, for the £2 super chat. Oh, it's not showing up yet. It should be showing up soon. But anyway, wrong buttons. There we go. Thank you again, Hamish, for the £2 super chat. Hamish said hi. Hamish, good to see you too. All right, early birds in the chat. Hamish is in here. Stuart Douglas is in here. Donno's in here. Ravage is in here. Ravage saying, is somebody late again? I started on time. This time. Rage Master's in here. FF is in here. Let me see if I can pronounce this correctly. Nuldulamiso Bright is in here. Algebra FM. Yancey, good to see you, Yancey. Roth Pictures is in here. Roth says, hey Josh, first time here. Happy to be here. Awesome. Happy to have you on board, Roth. Kakashi. Hatake is in here. Demogorgon Boy is in here. Austin is in here. Potato Productions. Chelsea King. Let's see what we got here. Ryan Higa. Ryan, good to see you too. Guys, if this is your first live stream, say it in the chat. Right first live stream. Let me know who's a newbie here, someone that's starting out fresh. And thanks for being one of the early birds in here. Chelsea King says, what's up? Hamish says, good, thanks. Cool. All right, guys, I want to start walking through the different points here and kind of fill you guys in on what you can do to kind of understand what these different mixed signals are. So let's first talk about what a mixed signal is. A mixed signal ultimately is when you're talking to your crush, you're talking to someone, and sometimes they lead you in a direction that makes you think that they like them, and then sometimes they lead you in a direction that makes you think you're just friends. So it's kind of hard to see where they stand. You know how you feel, right? If they're your crush, then they're someone that you like, someone that you want to be with, someone that you want to ask out, but it's not always easy to do that. And sometimes the fear comes in not knowing how they feel, not knowing if they like you back. So when you do kind of approach them with your feelings, you want to make sure that they're not going to reject you. So let's break down this idea of a mixed signal. Let's walk through them one by one. Let's jump into the first one here, guys. First mixed signal I want to walk you through is this. They don't respond to your messages quickly, or if they do respond, it's sporadic, it's spontaneous. It's hard to figure out why sometimes their responses are quick and to the point and they get back to you, and then other times they don't respond for hours or even a day. So it's incredibly tough sometimes to figure out what it means when your crush doesn't respond to your messages quickly. Like I said, sometimes you may be in the middle of a conversation and then they disappear on you and you don't really know what to do. You don't really know how to approach that. Do you keep messaging them more? Do you kind of give them some space? Do you ask them why they stop responding to you? These are all tough questions to figure out because you never want to push your crush away. You never want your crush to feel like you're questioning them so much that they get annoyed or upset with you. So you're stuck in that place where they don't respond to your messages. Sometimes they do. There's no system to it. It's just simply chaos at that point. What do you do? How do you deal with that level of a mixed signal? Well, it's important to recognize that if you don't know the full story, you should never assume someone else's intent, right? So a lot of times when people are experiencing things like, hey, my crush just stopped responding out of nowhere, or my crush ghosted me, your initial thought goes to, they hate me, they don't like me, they don't want to talk to me, they want nothing to do with me. When in reality, there's a million different things that could be happening. One, they could have been talking to you, could have been in the middle of a conversation, and then they got called on by their parents to go do something, or maybe they had to take care of homework, or maybe their phone died, or maybe they didn't want to talk, or maybe they got another phone call from someone else, or got involved in another conversation. There's a million different scenarios that we can kind of think up as to why a person would just kind of stop responding to you out of nowhere, right? And a lot of the messages that I get that are in relation to texting and dating is, hey, my crush stopped responding to me, or the conversation fell flat, I don't know what to do. So what I want to do is I want to jump into a chat poll here. I want to get your guys' opinion on this scenario. Yes or no here. Is your crush hot and cold when it comes to responding to your messages? Or are they someone that when you message them, they respond back and you guys talk for a bit and the conversation ends mutually? Or do you feel like you're trying to make conversations work, but sometimes they respond and sometimes they don't? Are they hot and cold, or are they not? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say and get your opinion here, because I think ultimately what I want to know is what you guys are experiencing with that. I think it's one of the most common mixed signals where people aren't as responsive as you'd like them to be, so you're kind of left in the dust thinking about how you should follow up. So I'm going to jump in and read some of the comments here, what you guys are saying here. Important Muscles, European Car says, I've experienced this so many times. Yeah, this is something that's incredibly common. A lot of people kind of start a conversation, but it doesn't go out the way that they want. Let's see. I want to destroy generic lists. I'm not really bothered about my crush. That's good. I mean, a lot of times I think you're in a good place if, hey, your crush doesn't respond, you can kind of move on and do your own thing and not stress too much about it. That's a good place to be. Forever a Seahawk says, bro, we're going to different schools, different high schools. Rest in peace. Yeah, man, look, with everything going on in the world right now, you may be in a position where you're not going to see your crush to the end of the year, and then you're going to different schools, and that's the end of it, right? So it's a sucky thing to experience, a sucky feeling to have, but I think ultimately you can still try to maintain some level of connection over text and on Instagram, follow them on TikTok, whatever it may be, to just keep a conversation going, because in the future you may want to reconnect in some way. Let's see. So FNF says hot and cold. Important Muscle says yes. Hamish says, I don't have a crush. It's a hard life being alone. I hear you on that, Hamish. I understand where you're coming from. Noah says, my crush put me on Do Not Disturb for 3 months when I had her on my Snap. Yeah, Noah, like we've talked about in the past, I think your crush may need some time away just to think, just to focus on herself, to maybe not be bothered with drama or relationships or whatever it may be. Reading through the rest of them here, Yancey says yes. Rage says yeah. Nija says yes. Bot said they stopped talking to me, but they talk to other people. That's an interesting one, Bots. I think that if your crush stopped talking to you, but they still talk to other people, it's possible that they may not feel that deeper connection that you feel in talking to them. They may feel like the conversations are very casual. And I'm going to kind of explain that in a little bit here. L4 No says yes, they often don't read my messages. Ethan says yes. I want to destroy generic lift says, someone you want to be in a relationship with. Gavin says, haven't texted them yet. Yeah, some of you guys are maybe a step back and haven't even texted your crush or started a conversation with them. So there are other mixed signals that I'm going to talk about that you may feel are pertinent to you, but if texting is something that you're not there yet, it's important to know how to handle those situations when they do eventually come, because if you like your crush, you're going to want to talk to them at some point, right? You're going to want to build something with them. So the key really is, how do you have positive, engaging text conversations with that person? And I think part of the key to doing that is this, guys. So if you're getting mixed signals from your crush, low key, like they just stop responding to your messages, or they just kind of give you one-word answers, and it's not a real conversation. How do you fix that? Well, I've talked about this in the past, but I think one important thing you need to do is definitely improve the things that you talk about, the quality of the conversation. So many people focus on, I just want my crush to be engaged. I want them to talk, but you're not thinking, am I asking fun and engaging questions? Am I trying to learn about their personality? Am I sharing stories from my own life? Am I having fun in talking to them. That's a big key component, because if you're asking interesting questions and you're talking to that person, learning about their life, chances are there's a higher likelihood they're going to respond back to you. And you're not going to sit there going crazy trying to figure out. When I said, hey, how's your day going? They didn't respond. Throw away those kind of simple messages and think a little bit deeper about what you want to talk about. So in talking about what it is you should talk about, I want to share this, guys. I know a lot of you guys know about it, but I think it's important. It's an important resource for everyone to check out. These are my 20 icebreaker conversation starters. Basically, I've taken 20 different conversation topics that you can use to kind of spark a conversation, broke them out, listed them there, and then also kind of wrote out different responses you can follow up with once you ask the question. So if one of the questions is, what would you do if you were stuck on a desert island? Just as a fun question, just as a fun question to ask your crush. And they say, if I was stuck on a desert island, I'd probably bring with me my favorite book, right? A good follow-up question is like, cool. So, how long, what other books do you like reading? Or how long have you really been into reading? Thinking deeper and into the question and the answer that they gave is going to allow you to kind of keep the conversation going. You're going to keep that momentum, and it's not going to fall flat. So many conversations fall flat simply because people don't know what to talk about. And the icebreakers, I think, can help you kind of just kickstart a conversation there. I want to jump in and see what some of you guys are saying here. It seems like a lot of you guys fell on the yes side. You feel like you do get these kind of mixed signals. Your crush is hot and cold. Sometimes they respond, sometimes they don't. I want to hear what you guys have to say here. So Juan Diego Andrade says, Josh, I need help. So we chat and everything was good. She even agreed on going for a run. I text her, how's the weekend, and ignored me for 4 days, and yesterday left me on scene. Should I text her again? So this is an interesting one here. How many times do you text someone before you start to feel like, am I being too needy? Do they not want to talk to me? Here's what I would suggest, Juan. Let me take a sip of water. If your crush hasn't responded to you and it's been 4 days and you asked her how the run was, I think the best thing to do is, if you are going to text her again, start a brand new conversation. Meaning, send her a picture of yourself putting your running shoes on, or send her a picture of you going out to do something or hanging out at home. Start a new conversation with her. And I think best thing to do is to start with a picture, because that picture will catch her interest. She'll see that and she might ask a question about it, or she might jump back into the conversation with you. So you want to do something that's different rather than just messaging her, because the last thing I think any person wants to see is 10 messages in a row from a person. It's overwhelming. It's a little much, and it can make you feel like this person doesn't kind of understand that you were busy. Sorry, I hit the mic there. But yeah, so that's kind of the first point there, just to bring it back up to show you guys again, they don't respond to your messages quickly. And if you've experienced that, it's a low-key signal that, hey, they're not interested, but there's so much more to it. It's not always that they're not interested. It could just be that they're busy. And I think an important thing to do is to, you may even just want to ask them, yep, Rage Master, I think I figured it out for now, which is cool. But for those of you guys watching, how is the quality still fine? Is it still the same quality, or is it I saw that it was 360p, but I hope it's streaming at its full resolution. But anyway, let me know in the chat, guys. But ultimately, that's what you want to focus on. You want to focus on following up with them. So Juan, like I said, follow up with a picture, but you also might want to follow up with something like, hey, let me know when you're free. I have something really important to tell you. So saying something like that triggers a situation where now they have a reason to respond back to you and to keep that conversation going. Okay, I want to jump into the second point here. Awesome. All right, good. It's clear. That's everything I want. Okay, let's jump into the second thing here. Let me see. Well, hold on. I want to answer Juan's question here. Should a GIF of something work, like a dog GIF? I haven't texted her a lot. Haven't been needy at all. She just suddenly didn't reply. Everything was good. Yeah, Juan, like I said, just because they don't reply doesn't mean that it's an indicator that you did something wrong, right? Sometimes people are just busy. So you could always send a GIF, but here's my hesitation on saying, yeah, do that, because Sending a GIF isn't very personal. And I think what you want, especially if there's been a bit of a time gap, is a personal message. So that might mean sending a picture of yourself doing something fun. That might mean starting with a story or asking a question. Those are all very personal things that will get her engaged. If you send her a dog GIF, she might just like double tap and like it. And then that's it. The conversation ends there. Or she might just look at it and not respond because there's nothing personal about it. Maybe she'll laugh and then move on. So you want to send her something that you think will have a higher likelihood of getting her to actually respond back to you. Okay, let's jump into the second point here, guys. We're talking about no more McDonald's Wi-Fi. I know, right? I don't know what was wrong with my internet, but it seems like it's working now. That's a good thing. Okay, let's move on to the second point. We're talking about low-key mixed signals that your crush gives off that just confuses you. And this is one that I think is super important to talk about, guys. They call you their friend. Now, that's such a tricky word. It can be so incredibly confusing sometimes because friend means a lot of things. And it can be very scary. It can be very intimidating to be called a friend. It can make you feel like, oh, that's it. I'm friend zoned. This is over. It's not going to work out. So what does it mean? What exactly does it mean when your crush calls you their friend? Let's break that down. Okay, so your mind might default to friend zone immediately, but friend can mean a lot of different things. I personally think it's important to be friends with your crush before you start dating them. Let me explain that. It's important to be friends with your crush before you start dating because you want to make sure that the two of you click, that you guys get each other, that you understand each other's humor, that you have things in common, that there are things that you want to learn about the other person. And all those traits I just mentioned are traits of a friendship, right? Now, obviously, the other traits of the romantic side are you're attracted to each other. Maybe there's a physical attraction, an emotional attraction, a mental attraction. Maybe you're just turned on by the fact that they're so smart and awesome and cool and talented, right? Those are all the kind of romantic attraction points, but there's also the friendship type of attraction points as well. You guys laugh together. It's not awkward. Things just flow. So if your crush calls you their friend, it's important to try to figure out what that means. Because look, your crush may be using that word not knowing that it has this intended effect of you feeling like you've been friend zoned. They may say, oh, you're such a good friend to me. But they also may still like you. They may still feel like they're in those early stages where they're getting to know you, where the romance hasn't blossomed yet. Now, I would always err on the side of caution that if your crush calls you their friend, if they say, you're such a friend to me, you might want to respond back jokingly and say something like, hey, hold on. Never said you were my friend just yet. I got to get to know you better. I just don't give anyone that label with a winky face or something silly like that. Because what you're doing is, you're understanding, yeah, you guys both get each other, but you're rejecting the label, but you're doing it in a playful way. So saying something like, whoa, who said we were friends? You're like my sworn enemy or something like that. Like something that's the opposite of just going, yeah, cool, we're friends. Because I think when you just go along with the narrative, it's hard then to build romance on top of that. But if you challenge it in a playful way, you're at least asserting that you're not going to just settle for just friendship. So it can be very, very tricky sometimes to figure out what exactly your crush means. So what can you do? Well, I'm going to explain what you could do, but before I do that, I want to do a chat poll. I want every single person in the stream right now, every single person watching to jump in and answer this question. Has your crush ever referred to you as a friend before? Now, like I said, it can mean a lot of different things, but have you ever been called their friend before? I want to hear what you guys have to say. I'm going to jump in and read some of the chat things here. Rage Master says they call you their friend equals friend zone. Yeah. So like I said, some people see it directly as meaning friend zone. Like they wouldn't call the person they have the hots for their friend, right? There's a lot of ideas and things that we can think and do. But like I said, being friends is where you want to start. So if they're calling you their friend, recognize that they may not mean that you're friend zoned. They may just mean that they're still taking time to get to know you. But here's what you guys have to say. I asked you guys, has your crush ever referred to you as their friend? Marcus says no. Anthony says no. Yancey says, oh, yes. Big Al Niang says no. Noah says no. Andrew, no. High Ground, technically no. Oddcraft says yes. Benji says yes. Ryan says no. Nija, yes. Roth, yes. Did I say Benji, no? Benji, yes. I got to get something where I tap and it's like, it feels like adds a number to the yeses, adds a number to the yeses, adds a number to the no. So we get a real official poll going. But looking through, Stuart says, not that I remember. Hot Red says, yeah. Oddcraft says, yes. Let's see, who did I miss here? Andrew says, not at all. Ryan Higa says, cool guy. Let's see. Noah says, I ruined my chance being friends with her. Oddcraft says, yes. Fedlands, Lord Just says, yes. So, yeah, guys. So, it seems like there's a mix here. Some of you said yes, some of you said no. I'm assuming for the people that said no, you're probably just on this very basic level with your friends, maybe, or maybe you guys are closer in the relationship scale that they never said that. Ravage for Savage says, I mean, you kind of have to if you're going to get to know someone. Yeah, Ravage, I take friend meaning that you guys are on that level where you're getting to know each other. But I can understand how sometimes it gets seen as friend zoned. Rage Master says, oh my God, I agree with what he said. Start with being friends first, then relationship. Yeah, I mean, that's my kind of take for it. It's that building a friendship means learning about that person, seeing where the two of you connect, seeing if you enjoy each other's company, where it's not awkward and you're not bored of them. I think that's the level of friendship you should aspire to. But sometimes when your crush calls you a friend, it's confusing. You don't know where they stand. So I said I was going to tell you guys what to do. So I'll tell you what you should do here. If your crush is referring to you as their friend, if they say things especially like, oh my God, you're my best friend, you're my biffle, you're like a brother to me, these kind of terms, you're like a sister to me, these kind of terms that make you feel like, they don't like me in the way I like them. The best way to test that out is to ask them out. To say to them, hey, listen, I want to get to know you better. You seem like a really cool person. How about we hang out this Friday? Now, given you can't hang out outside right now, you might want to simply say, how about we jump on a FaceTime just so we can chat and get to know each other better? Now, if your crush likes you as more than a friend or they see potential for that, they're going to be more willing to spend one-on-one time with you. That's going to be the key indicator between being in a friendship and being in the friend zone. It's important to distinguish those differences. And the fact that they'll be willing to spend one-on-one time with you, to talk with you, to joke with you, and even to flirt with you, that's a bigger sign that they do actually like you. But sometimes, like I said, they throw out this friend word and you don't really know what they mean. It's important to ask them out because that's going to help you figure out which path you're on, friendship or friend zone. I want to jump in and answer a few more questions before I get to the next point here, guys. But if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up. I don't know why the names aren't showing here. I got to fix that. But hit the thumbs up on this video. I updated OBS, so I think that's probably why I got to change all these that's why the super chat didn't pop up. If you haven't already hit the thumbs up, guys, I truly, truly appreciate it. I hope this topic, I hope what we're talking about is helpful for you guys. I think that as we walk through these, it's important to think where certain things tie into your life, where certain things don't, and to see how, you connect to them. All right, let's see what you guys are saying here. Yancey, good to see you, man, says, hey Josh, what do I do when Carol asks me, why do I look at her stories and I'm too scared and nervous to say anything? Yancey, that's a good question. So if your crush notices that you're looking at their stories and they question that, why are you looking at my stories? I think that you have two directions. One, you can apologize and say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to look at it, which I don't recommend. And then two, you can confidently answer and say something like, you seem like a really interesting person. I want to see what you're posting. I want to learn more about you. Saying something like that, you're standing in your space. Like when a person questions you, why are you doing that? If you have no reason to feel guilty for looking at her stories, she posts them on Instagram or whatever, you click through and you watch them, right? Like if someone posts content that's visible for the world and you see it, then there's nothing wrong with looking at it. So you shouldn't feel ashamed or embarrassed. And that's why I said you stand in your confidence there by telling her, you seem like an interesting person. I want to learn more about you. I think saying something like that is actually going to make her kind of take a step back and go, okay, cool. I respect that answer. And that's the kind of place you want to be in. Oddcraft says, I just told my crush I like them, but they have a boyfriend. But I also told her that I respect her relationship. Oddcraft, yeah, I hear where you're coming from on that. It's a sucky situation when you like someone and they're already dating someone else. But I think you made the right move here. Say, hey, listen, I respect your relationship. Do your thing. And then the important thing for you, Autograph, is to focus on your own life now to move forward. If she breaks up with her boyfriend in the future, then yeah, you might want to reach back out to her and reconnect. But for now, try not to focus too much on, I'm going to build a friendship with you while you're in a relationship because then I'm close to you. Because a lot of guys tend to do that and they end up taking on a role of the best friend when that's not really what they want with their crush. And I think it actually hurts their chances overall. Sumakant Das says, she talks so less, just she is like baby, a boy is into him. I'm not sure if I really understand what you mean there, but Marcus says, so in Texas, some things are open like restaurants and stuff. Still a good time to ask her out or not? Marcus, it's hard to say. I think that depending on where you live, depending on what the laws are and where you can eat, or and also depending on what your family's okay with, right? Like, if your parents are not okay with you going out and stuff and then coming back, then you might have to be respectful of that. There's a lot of nuance and a lot of weird things as far as like going out and having dates outside yet. But a simple solution is just to kind of focus on having FaceTime chats, getting to know her better like that, interacting through text and over phone for now until you feel and everyone around you feels 100% comfortable with you going out, going to restaurants, and eating out and stuff like that. Akash, no need to post the question multiple times. I'll catch it if I see it. Okay, let's see. Import Muscle European Car says, is it okay to ask my crush on how she's doing during the world pandemic? Yeah, look, Import, I think that it's a totally fine question to ask. I think that there's a lot going on. We're all kind of over our heads weathering this storm together. So the best thing you can do is reach out to her and say, hey, how's everything going? How are you dealing with schoolwork? How are you dealing with not seeing your friends? Try to catch up with her. But if you want to start a conversation like that, I think it's a totally fine thing to do. Okay. Ethan says, my crush said that she doesn't like me in that way. What should I do? Ethan, if your crush told you that she doesn't like you in that way, the best thing you can probably do is to kind of move on. I think that sometimes when your crush is direct with you and they tell you, hey, I'm not into you, that's probably one of the best signs that you can get to move on, right? A lot of times people aren't as forward, so you're left wondering, you're left in the middle thinking like, do they like me? Do they not like me? If they're direct and they say no, at least you have the knowledge that you need to move forward. I want to jump into point number 3 here, guys. Let's get moving on point number 3. So we're talking about low-key mixed signals that your crush gives off that just confuses you. These are things that they do that leave you wondering, why? Do they like me? Do they not like me? And sometimes they don't even know that they're doing it. And point number 3, I think, is an indicator of that. This is a very, very slight thing that can be very confusing to a lot of people. They message you first, or they're the ones that start the conversations with you. Now, look, sometimes, and we're going off of the last point of like being friends, being called a friend and stuff. Sometimes if your crush is the one that's starting the conversations with you, that can give you the impression that they are romantically interested in you. Why else would they message you? Why else would they want to talk to you? And this is where it gets confusing, because I think for a lot of people, they sit there wondering, well, why would they ask me how I'm doing if they didn't like me? Or why would they approach me and say hi in the hallway of the school if they didn't like me? It's very easy sometimes to interpret simple acts of kindness, simple gestures of just being a normal person and introducing, talking to people and saying hello for signs of romance, especially when you like that person. So I want to dive into that a little bit more. You really like your crush. You really like this person. You want to be with them. You want to see where things go. But one of the issues, I think, is that for a lot of people, if the person that they like starts talking to them, they assume their crush has those same feelings back. So you're the one who's always struggling to say hi to your crush. When they say hi to you, your brain kind of just jumps to, wow, well, why are they talking to me? They must like me. They must want to be with me. So it's important to not misread that signal, because it's possible they're messaging you because they like you, but it's also possible that they're messaging you just to start a conversation. Look, a lot of people are bored and a lot of people are at home trying to figure out what to do. So someone sparking up a conversation with you might not always be a true indication that they like you. I think what's a better indication that they like you is that as you have that conversation, they're willing to continue engaging. They're willing to talk more. They're willing to set up a second call or a second hangout or a second FaceTime with you. Whenever you ask them to talk, they're more interactive. They're more engaged. But just simply them starting the conversation isn't always a direct sign. And look, they may not even know how you feel about them. So they're not even thinking that when I message this person, they're going to think I like them. I want to jump in and read what some more of you guys are saying here. Dario says, I think another reason about mixed signals, it's probably because the guy is maybe a little too old for the girl. Yeah, Dario, I think I understand what you're saying, that sometimes if a younger girl messages an older guy, he might think, well, she's messaging me because she likes me, right? I think our human ego brings us there, and it works both ways, right? I think our human ego drives us to, if people are reaching out to me, especially someone I think is attractive, then chances are they think I'm hot, right? That's where our mind goes, but it's important to explore that and to see. So if your crush is the one that messages you first, carry a conversation, be engaging with them, talk to them, joke with them, flirt with them, do all of the above and see what their response is like. If their response is positive and they flirt back or they joke back, yeah, then you're in a good position. That means that, they wanted to talk to you and that conversation is going well. Sorry. But if they just message you and it's like, hey, what's up? And then the conversation falls flat, chances are they did it out of boredom. I want to jump in and let's get a chat poll going here, guys. Everyone in the chat, I want to hear your responses. There's 48 people watching. I want 48 responses, but I don't know if we'll get that. Everyone watching, answer this question. Who messages who first? Does your crush message you first, or do you usually message your crush? I know some of you guys in the past have said, yeah, we both message each other equally, but who's usually the person that starts the conversation? Is it you or your crush? I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. I know some of you guys are promoting the Discord out there, and let's get it out there. So, if you feel like you're bored at home, you have no one to talk to, you want to just engage with people that are fun and interesting and exciting, you're working on something cool like learning how to play guitar or draw, or you just have a question about dating or life or school, join our Discord, guys. This is an awesome, awesome community of really cool and interesting people there. What's really cool about our Discord channel is we have mods that really care and nurture and help people. We have conversations that I think are really, really helping people learn and grow and discover new ways to start conversations, to try new things out. And plus, I think it's just overall a positive community. So if you're just looking for someone to hear you out and you want to just talk about what's on your mind, the Discord is a wonderful, wonderful place to do. Simply head to thejoshspeaks.com/Discord. You can check it out. It's a free, open community. I'd love to have you as a part of it. So I asked you guys, let's get back to the chat poll. The chat poll question here, who usually starts the conversation, you or your crush? Here's what you guys had to say. Ravage says, I message everyone first. Let's see. Deccan says, I'm first. Andrew says, both really. Marcus, during this time, she messaged me first, but usually a mix. Rage Master says, in a little, both. High Ground says, honestly, equal. Yancey says, I message them. Ryan says, yes and no, it's both ways. Nija says, me. Ernesto says, she usually messages me first. Fedlin says, me. Hot Red says, I usually start first. Jalen says, I message her first, but I don't think she's going to talk to me anymore. Ravage says, but the convo just goes on. Yep, so Ravage, you start it, but they continue it. That's a good sign. Anthony says, yee. Andrew says, mostly me. Stuart says, I usually message first. Deacon says, it's me first. AXB says, I usually start the conversation. Darius says, probably me. Annabit says, my crush more, but then I confessed and got rejected. Sorry to hear that. Noah says, when I had my crush, I kept texting first. Does it matter who messages who first? That's an important question, Noah. I'm going to answer that in a second. Emma says, how are you, Josh? Emma, I'm doing fine. I hope you're doing fine as well. In quarantine, staying safe. As all of you guys. I hope all of you guys are doing well, staying safe. Akula says, sometimes she, but me more. JD Chai says, me. Hamish says, me. A Dream says, it used to be me, but over time it became her. Anzes, what was the question? So Anzes, the question was, who tends to start the conversations, you or your crush? A lot of you guys said me. And Noah, keep yawning. Sorry, it's been a very long day. Noah asked the question, does it matter? Is it good or bad if you're the one who starts? Guys, who starts the conversation doesn't really matter. Now, let me explain what that means. You might be thinking, okay, but if I don't start the conversation, nothing happens. But who starts it doesn't matter. What matters more is not the first exchange that you have, not the first, hey, how's it going? I'm doing good, you. Not that. It's the follow-up. it's the core of the conversation that matters, because you can have these general pleasantries when you start, right? Think about if you meet anyone at a party, right? It's very easy to if someone introduces you, oh, hi, nice to meet you, what's your name? Oh, what's your name? That's the easy part. The hard part is, what do you follow up with to keep the conversation going? And I think that's where I want you guys to really think about it. It's not who starts the conversation. You can start the conversation by asking your crush a question and your crush can answer, but it's how you follow up, how you keep that conversation moving. That's what really matters. And like I said, the whole point of this kind of low-key mixed signal where your crush is messaging you, sometimes we take that as we should take a step back. And they like me, that's why they're messaging me. But it's important to double down, go deeper into that conversation with them. Even if they start it, it's important for you to ask questions, for you to learn more about them, for you to share more stories about yourself. So one thing I want to share up here with you guys is this. When it comes to stories and stuff, and when it comes to kind of having a very structured way of talking, I break down a lot of that format on how to have a conversation, what to follow up with, when to ask them out, all those different kinds of ideas in my book here, Embracing the Awkward. I have it over there. Whatever. I have the picture over there. You know what? I'm going to grab the book. I'll show you guys. Okay. Here it is. All right. There we go. This is my book, Embracing the Awkward here. Each of these chapters, I kind of broke out pieces of my own personal story, things going on in my life. But I also have, I think, very actionable plans about how you can start conversations. For example, this chapter is, I don't know if you can see it as well, make the first hello of the day a special one. This one outlined one small achievement goal. Oh, this is about goals. Hold on. Let's find a conversation. Here we go. Keep the conversation going. Here, I talk about the two approaches that you can take in this chapter here. The two approaches. The first approach is to begin with a question. The second approach is to begin with the story. And then I break down the reasons why that's helpful. Either way, guys, this is my book, Embracing the Awkward. I think that if you're looking for something to read during quarantine, that's the book to check out. Emma asked a good question. Hey, Josh, is there an audio of the book? There's no audio version yet. I know I've been saying I want to get one done for a long time, and I'm talking to the book publishers to really make that happen. I really want to set it up and make it happen. But the book kind of really breaks down, I think, the step-by-step process for how to start those conversations, guys. Okay, I want to jump into the fourth point here. But before I do that, I also want to share one more thing. Guys, if you don't already know, right after this YouTube live stream, I go live over on Instagram for what I call the Instagram afterparty. And guess what? Every single one of you are invited. All 45 of you watching right now are invited to join the Instagram afterparty. Now, what is it? Well, on Instagram, I love to bring you guys on. So if you want to video chat with me one-on-one on Instagram, you could do it. Jump in the Instagram video chat. Just request to join, and I'll bring you on to talk. I love talking to you guys. I love getting your feedback and hearing your stories. The Instagram after parties are pretty laid back, pretty chill. We just talk about whatever's on our minds. No theme to it. We just go with the flow. So I'd love to have you guys as a part of it. Follow me over on Instagram if you're not already doing that. You think you guys have a great time. Okay. Thank you, Donald, for sharing the link to the book there, and Ravage for sharing the link to the Discord. I want to jump in and answer one or two more questions before I move on to the next point. All right, Dario says, and there's another reason that she gives you mixed signals, not to sound mean or discrimination. She is a lesbian. Yeah, so Dario, I hear what you're saying there. Sometimes, maybe you mean more so that she's bisexual. So I guess actually anyone can, right? I guess their sexual orientation doesn't matter. Sometimes we can get a vibe from someone that we feel is romantic interest when it really isn't. Maybe it's just them casually talking to us and joking here and there and flirting a little bit, but we take that as, oh, they must really like me. It's hard sometimes to figure out how someone else feels or what someone else is thinking. The best way to really figure that out is to see, are they willing to carry a conversation forward? If you try to set up one-on-one time with them to talk and hang out, are they open to that idea? Okay, I Want to Destroy says, what if your enemy told your crush you like him? That's a good question. If your enemy told your crush you like him, you really only have one option now. Your crush knows how you feel, right? So you have two options, but one option being you can cower away, you can hide, you can pretend like it's not real, or you could step into that power. You could step forward and go, okay, now that they know, it's game time. I'm going to walk up to my crush. I'm going to say hi, or I'm going to message them. I'm going to ask them how they're doing. They know you like them. They already know that. So you got nothing to hide at this point. So the best thing you can do is to approach confidently, to start talking to them, to start asking them questions, to learn more about them. Because what they're going to see is that they already know that you like them. And the fact that you're approaching them to talk, they're going to be like, wow, like this guy is really cool, or this girl is really cool. They're talking to me, they're approaching me, and, they're forward. They're very up for it. So I think that's something that I would highly, highly recommend doing. Ravage said Discord after party. Shh, Ravage, that's a secret. Don't let anyone know, guys. All right, I'll tell you guys because you guys are watching, but no one in the Instagram after party. It'll be secret just for the YouTube audience. After the Instagram after party, there is literally a secret Discord after party. Right? I'm gonna whisper this. I go over on Discord after Instagram. I jump into the voice channel and I chat with you guys. So don't let anyone know. If you want to follow us on Discord and Instagram, you can be part of all the different after parties going on. Okay, secret between you and me. Let's jump into point number 4, guys. Looking through some more comments here. Dream says, hey, Josh, there's the psychological fact where they say if you dream about that person, for example, your crush, it means that they are also dreaming about you. Is this true? The fact made me more confused. Dream, I'm going to squash that because having a dream about someone doesn't mean that they're dreaming about you. I know that there's a lot of things like, if you get chills in the back of your neck, it's because someone's thinking about you. There's a lot of these kind of folklore type of ideas, but it's not a true proven psychological fact. If you dreamed about your crush, it's just because they were on your mind. Maybe you saw something that reminded you of them, or maybe your mind just pulled a memory that you had with them. Dreaming about someone doesn't directly mean anything. It just means that they're on your mind. Now, what I always say is this, that if you're dreaming about someone that you like and they're constantly showing up, well, make that dream a reality. Approach them, talk to them, make something happen. Okay, let's jump back in to point number 4 here, and that's this. We're talking about 5 low-key mixed signals your crush gives off to confuse you. These are things your crush is doing that you're just like, what the heck? What does that mean? They are super curious about who you like. So let's talk about this one for a second here. When I say they're super curious about who you like, what I mean by that is this, guys, that your crush asks you questions like, hey, who are you into? Hey, do you like anyone? Hey, who do you have a crush on? Who's your celebrity crush? Who do you like from our class? Your crush starts trying to pry a little bit. Now, when your crush does that, you might feel like, are they asking me because they like me? Do they want to know who I like so that I can tell them it's them? You might get nervous. You might get scared. You might not know really how to answer that. But if your crush is asking you a lot of those personal romantic questions, it's easy to interpret that as a sign of interest. And similar to the points I mentioned before, it's important to not just assume that because a person is asking you these questions that they automatically like you. That's one of the biggest mistakes you can make, just assuming that they like you based on your interpretation of their behaviors. Try your best not to do that, guys, because ultimately what you're going to end up doing is you're setting yourself up for potential failure. Let's say they're just curious and they just want to know. So I want to get a chat poll going here, guys. I want to hear what you guys have to say. And it's sort of tied to the last point, but I want to know this. Yes or no? Does your crush know that you like them? Are they aware that you have feelings for them? Or are they just in the dust? Does your crush know that you like them? Yes or no? I want to hear what you guys are saying. Jump in the chat right now. Every single person watching right now, I want to see what you guys are saying. Leave your answer in there. I want to jump in and see what some of you guys are saying in the chat. Dono says the Soft Wheat Podcast Season 2 premieres May 16th. That's awesome. Yeah, I think when Soft Wheat comes back to the podcast, man, it's going to be a fun adventure. Okay. Jalen says, hi, Josh. My situation with my crush and her boyfriend being mad at me. What do you think I should do and when should I apologize to them? Jalen, I don't think you should apologize. I think that for now, you need to just give them space. Focus on not talking to either of them, doing your own thing. I think space is going to be the best way to heal things right now. So I asked you guys, does your crush know that you like him? Here's what he had to say. Dizon Paul said, yeah. Sophia said, yes. Marcus says, not yet. Yancey says, yeah. Sam Lee says, hey, Josh, how do you deal with feeling guilty when someone likes you and you don't? That's a good question, Sam. I'll answer that in a second. Naja says, yes. Jalen says, yes. And Josh, what should I do about her being mad at me? Marcus says, not sure if I should tell him, though. Cole says, no, as far as I know. Sam says, yes, and they feel the same. That's awesome, Sam. That's really cool. Let's see. Pulling on my pants leg. It's really hot in here. Yancy says, yeah, and she laughed. Let's see. Sophia says, I told him. Okay, cool. Akula says yes. Dario says yes. Stuart says, I don't think so, but someone could have told them. Yeah, I hear you on that. Hamish says maybe. Noah says yes. Rajmaster. Ragemaster says, no, I haven't. Jalen says yes. Anzej says no. Hamish says yes and no. Ravage says, everyone rejects me, so there's no point of asking anyone out. Ravage, I hear you on that, but I don't think that you should base your future outcomes on a handful of people, right? If 10 people have rejected you, if 20 people have rejected you, you have your whole life ahead of you. Your whole life ahead of you to interact with new people, to discover new things about yourself, to learn about new people. You're going to base your decisions on what 10 or so, 20, whatever it may be, people have decided? Why should those 10 people decide your fate? You deserve way more than that, man. You're not giving yourself enough credit. Okay. Sam asked, what do you do if you like someone likes you and you don't really like them back? That's a good question, Sam. I did a video on that topic, how to reject someone nicely. I think the best way to do it is to be honest with them, but honest in a way that you let them know where you stand. A lot of times when people reject someone, they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't really like you. I don't know, it's just me. Or, they try to sugarcoat it. But if you say something like, listen, I don't have romantic feelings. I don't like you in that way, but I would value your friendship. So if you're okay with just being friends, then we can do that. Now, that puts it in their ball. That puts the ball in their court where they have to decide, are they okay with just a friendship or are they going to walk? So you're giving them the opportunity to decide. If you want to build a friendship with them and that's all you want, establish that by saying it. Okay. So yeah, a lot of you guys said yes and no. It was a mixed kind of bag here where your crush might know how you feel. But like I said, if your crush is asking you those kind of detailed questions, hey, who do you like? Hey, do you have a crush on someone right now? You might take it as, well, why are they asking me this? Are they so curious about my love life that they like me? I think instead of falling into prey of assuming, it's best to pursue that. Now let's assume that your crush asks you, hey, who do you like? And you respond with something like, I think you're pretty cute. I think what you're doing there is, like I said, you're standing in your confidence. Now, that's a scary thing to do, right? Because that's a very bold move to make. Like, hey, who do you have a crush on? And you go, you. It's you. That's like, whoa, hold on. A little too strong there, buddy. So like I said, if you feel confident enough to do it, do that. If you don't, you might want to say, I'm not really sure yet. I like a few people and I'm just trying to get to know them all right now. Saying something like that might be safer, but like I said, if you could stand in your confidence, I'd recommend doing it because it will show your crush that you're not going to be intimidated by a simple question like that. Okay, let me see some more. I'm going to answer some more questions in the chat. Like I said, guys, if you have a burning question, something you want to talk to me about, something you need my attention, need me to address for you, you can always drop a super chat right over there. It's $1, $2, whatever it is. It'll put the question front and center in front of my face. I'll stop what I'm talking about. I will answer your question. Also, if you want the option to talk to me one-on-one every single month in a more private setting, because I understand maybe you have a question or something in your life that you don't really want to put out there front and center on YouTube, you can always become a patron or a channel member. The perks of being a channel member is that at the champion level, you could talk to me one-on-one every month. I do it with a few people here. I talk to Hamish, I talk to Stuart, I talk to a few people in here. Every single month, Noah is one of them. So if you want to learn more about what that's all about, how you can chat with me, how you can join our community group chats, because we do a community group chat with all the patrons and channel members as well. If you want to be able to use the special emojis that you see, Noah has the little sunglasses icon next to him, but you can use all these different types of emojis when you post here as well. Being a channel member gives you all those cool little perks. So I wanted to share that. Let's move on to point number 5 here, guys, and that is this. If we're talking about low-key mixed signals that your crush is giving off, then this is definitely one that takes the cake. They actively watch your stories. Let me break this down, guys. I've had a lot of people message me and say stuff like, "Hey, my crush watches my stories every single day. Does that mean anything?" Or, "Hey, my crush always likes my posts," or likes a bunch of my posts in a row, or likes comments that I leave. Does that mean something? It's easy sometimes to see little behaviors like this and to just think, "Oh man, like, does she like me? Does he want to get with me? Like, what does that mean?" We spend a lot of time analyzing micro behaviors, guys, and I think that sometimes there's truth to it, right? Sometimes you notice patterns and you can kind of figure out what's going on, but we spend a lot of time analyzing micro behaviors, thinking, why do they like my posts? Why do they always watch my stories? Why do they interact in that way? I think that if you're trying to get to that granular level to analyze what they're doing, well, they like this story and this story, but they didn't watch this one, or they like this post but not that one. If you're at that level, I think you're thinking too deep into the weeds, and you're not focusing on the bigger picture here. And the bigger picture is this: it's that people watch other people's stories all the time. Yancey asked that question earlier when he said, "Hey, my crush asked why do I watch her stories?" He watches it because he likes her, but sometimes people watch stories because they show up in a timeline and it's the next thing. Or sometimes you like a post that someone shared just because it's in your feed. There's not a direct science to why someone would watch your stories or like your posts. There's no, if they like 10 posts, then they like you. There's none of that. What it all comes down to is this. I'll say this, guys. If they're liking the stuff that you post or watching the stuff that you post, then that means that there is a general level of interest in what's going on in your life. So take that as a good sign. One of you guys in here, I won't say the name, but one of you guys told me that they started posting on Instagram more and they noticed that their crush was now interacting with them and talking to them. So by being more active on social media, by sharing more of your life, what's going on, your hobbies, your interests, you give the opportunity to your crush to get a peek into your life a little bit more, to see more what's going on, to leave a comment and to interact and to talk to you. So if you see that your crush is watching your content and likes what you're doing, then don't be afraid to share more of it. Don't be afraid to ask for people's opinions. Don't be afraid to post questions on your stories. The whole beauty, I think, of having people interact with your content is that you get feedback on what they like, what they don't like. And plus, it just feels good to share. It feels good to share what's going on in your life. So I would recommend each and every single one of you thinking along those lines. Instead of thinking, well, every time I post a picture, my crush likes it, so I'm going to post more pictures to see if they like it, because maybe that's a sign they like me. Don't get pulled into the weeds. Like I said, the key here is this. If you want to get closer to your crush, you're definitely going to want to focus on asking them out. Now, right now, you can't, like I said, can't go out to a restaurant or something like that, but you can FaceTime with them, you can video chat, you can join a group chat. There's plenty of ways to communicate with your crush. Focus solely on that, the communication aspect. That's going to be the most important piece. So I want to do a chat poll on that, guys. I want to get your guys' opinion. Every single person watching, I want you to jump in and answer in the chat right now. I'm curious, guys. Does your crush often like your posts or like your content? Whether it's your stories, they open up your snap streaks, they like your posts, they leave comments. Does your crush interact with the content that you share? Yes or no? I want to hear what you guys have to say. I'm going to jump in and answer some questions while you guys kind of answer through that. Dario says, how many cosplays do you own, Josh? That's a good question, Dario. Let's see. I started cosplaying when I was in college. My first cosplay was Mighty Max. Then I did Doctor Strange. Then I did Iron Fist. Then I did Mr. Fantastic. Then I have action figures of all of them. Mr. Fantastic. I did Bullseye. I did the Shocker. I did Scorpion. I did Baron Zemo. I did Black Bolt. Was that 10? I think that was 10 already. I did the Wrecker. I did Claw. And I did Union Jack. That's 13. I've done 13 cosplays, I believe, over the years, ever since I was in college. So I asked you guys that question. Does your crush interact and like your content? Here's what you guys had to say. Marcus says doesn't even have a social media. Yeah, Marcus, I hear you on that. Some of you guys aren't on social media. Some of you don't like to post, and that's fine. I'm not saying push yourself to post just because. I'm simply saying, though, that if you see your crush interacting with your content, then that's a sign that they're just generally interested in you, which is a good reason for you to start talking to them. AXB says yes. Dario says, oh, yes. Akula says, I don't know. Sophia says usually. Nigel says yes. Stuart says, I only just started posting, but yes. Jalen says she looks at them. Noah says, no, she blocked me on Instagram, saw my Snap stories. Yeah, so no, if she watches your Snap stories, then she's to some degree generally interested in a little bit of your life. But if she blocked you, that might be a bigger sign that she's not. Sophia says, my crush is a girlfriend, but he likes me at the same time. I don't really know what to do. So your crush is a girlfriend, but he likes you. Well, that's a tough one, Sophia. I think that, like I said before, that you may feel tempted to want to pursue him. And what I would actually tell you to do is to outline kind of a straightforward ultimatum for him. That, hey, you like him. If he likes you, if he wants to pursue anything, then first he has to break up with his girlfriend. Because the last thing you want to do is to kind of interfere in someone's relationship. If he genuinely likes you and wants to be with you, he'll break up with her first. That's I think the most respectful thing that can happen. But tell him that. Say, if you really like me and you want to be with me, then you got to break up first, because I'm not going to pursue something with someone that's already in a relationship. Let's see. Bot said, damn, I follow her, but she doesn't follow me. Jalen says she looks at them. Let's see. Cole says, I suggested a day. They said they'd find out if they can video chat. I said, cool, just let me know. I left unread. A week later, they messaged me on TikTok. I haven't responded yet. I'm wondering my next move. That's a good question, Cole. If they haven't been as responsive, then if they message you on TikTok but you haven't responded yet, I think ultimately what you want to do is you want to have some kind of back and forth, interesting conversation going, and that might mean making a TikTok and challenging that person to make one too, or doing collaborating with someone on a TikTok or something. TikTok. A lot of helicopters outside. Collaborating with them on a TikTok or something like that, just to get them engaged, to get them involved. All right, let's see. Noah says, no, she blocked me. Yancey says no. Rage Master says no. Gavin says yes. Yeah, guys, so it sounds like I said, if your crush is looking at your stories and looking at what you post, you might feel like that's a sign that they like you, but it's more a sign that they're just generally interested in you. So what I want to do is I want to walk you guys through the 5 points once again. For anyone that jumped in late or is catching the end of the stream here, I want to walk through the 5 points before we get to our mindful moment here. She tags me with memes. Yeah, so if she's tagging you with memes, then that means that she understands that the two of you have a similar sense of humor, which is a good sign. Okay, let's walk through the 5 points here, guys. We're talking about 5 low-key mixed signals your crush gives off to confuse you. This is the theme here. First one being this. They don't respond to your messages quickly. Yeah, look, sometimes people ghost you, or sometimes people just stop responding or leave you on red, or the conversation dies out. I think that you might automatically take that as a sign of disinterest. Well, they didn't keep talking to me, so therefore they don't like me. But it could just mean that they were busy, there was something else on their mind, something else they had to do. So don't take this as an immediate sign of defeat. See it as an opportunity to find another interesting way to talk to them. That might be asking them to video chat, or jumping on, sending a picture to them, or asking them a question, something that's a little bit more interesting, guys. That's going to get them to respond more. And that whole mixed signals of like, do they want to talk to me? Do they not? You'll kind of start to see that get taken care of. Point number 2, they call you their friend. Look, it's scary to be called a friend by your crush, because you might think you're getting friend zoned, right? You might think like, they don't like me. They want nothing to do with me. It sucks, right? That's what you think. But it's important to build a friendship first, actually, with your crush. Being a friend to them means learning about them, seeing what the two of you have in common, seeing if you guys can make each other laugh, if you're comfortable around each other. So it's a good idea to be friends with the person that you like. Now, there's a huge difference between being in a friendship and being in the friend zone. Being in a friendship simply means that there's flirtiness, there's interactivity, but, you're still pursuing them with the intent of dating them. When you're in the friend zone, you're pursuing them hoping that they accept you. It's a different kind of mindset. I did a video all about it. Check out the video as I break it down more. Point number 3, they message you first or start the conversation. Sometimes if it's your crush starting the conversation and talking to you, you might feel like, wow, they're talking to me because they like me. That's why they asked me how I'm doing. That's why they sent me that meme. That's why they are joking around with me. But just because they message you doesn't always mean that they like you in a romantic way. It might just mean that they're curious about your life. They're curious about what's going on, or they're bored and they want someone to talk to. Don't ever underestimate people's boredom. Sometimes people message people out of the blue just to see what's going on, just to check in. Point number 4, they are super curious about who you like. If you find your crush asking you a lot of questions, who do you like? Do you have a crush on anyone? They're trying to pry a little bit into your life. You might take that as a sign that, well, this person must really like me if they want to know those questions. But like I said, human curiosity can lead them to that. It can lead people to just want to learn more about you, especially if you're a bit mysterious or you don't share this information a lot. People are just genuinely curious. Now, if your crush asks you point blank who you like and you want to be bold, you might just want to tell them, I like you. I think you're pretty cute. Saying something like that is a super confident move to take. And if you feel like you can do it, I'd say go for it, guys. And point number 5 here is this. They actively watch your stories. Like I said, you might feel like because your crush is engaging with what you post and they're looking at it and they are, just curious about, what you're posting, they're liking it and you just see them kind of casually see it, watch your snap stories, whatever it may be. They're engaging with your content. Don't take that as a direct sign that they like you. See it more as an opportunity for you to, 1, be more creative and fun with what you post. Obviously, you have one person in your audience that does enjoy your content. And 2, see it as a reason to reach out to them. See it as a reason to kind of start a conversation, right? Post something on your stories where you're asking a question and see if your crush responds. And if they do respond, boom, shoot to the DMs and start talking to them there. I think that's a good way to transition. So like I said, guys, these were the 5 low-key mixed messages your crush gives off to confuse you. And on that note, I want us to head to the meditation mindful moment here. I have my bell right here. And everyone watching right now, I want us all to close our eyes and to think about the things we talked about on the stream. Think about these mixed signals, these confusing signs you get from your crush, and what does it all mean? I want us to think deeply about this, that although you may not feel it right now, there is a level of confidence within you that needs to be unlocked, that needs to be opened, that's there. When I say that you can be somebody great, you already have it inside of you. It's simply a matter of tapping into that, tapping into who you really are. Sometimes we just get scared when we interact around our crushes and we feel like we're not being ourselves. And it's true. It's because we haven't felt comfortable just being our open selves, being our honest selves, joking around, flirting like we want to around them. So tap into that confidence. If you're getting mixed signals from your crush, be confident and bold when you talk to them. I want us all to close our eyes right now and think about that. Think to yourselves, I am confident and I am bold and I will approach my crush because I like them and I want to see where things go. Let's take 10 seconds to think about that, guys. Oh, almost hit the bell. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this live stream. I really enjoyed sharing these points with you, and I really love the feedback that you guys gave. I love interacting with you guys in the comments, and what I want you to do next is for the people watching the replay, there we go. For the people watching the replay, I want you to check out the videos over there on the side. I think those videos will be helpful in understanding different mixed signals that your crush may be giving off. And for anyone watching live, head on over to Instagram. Follow me, Instagram @thejoshspeaks. Join the Instagram after party, and I will catch you guys next time. As always, love and peace. See you guys there.